Over the past year, I've built myself this pretty epic looking setup. And from looking at it, you'd think this is where I do all of my gaming. It's got a high-end custom PC build, a stacked dual monitor setup, and a fantastic audio system. So you'd be forgiven for thinking that this is where I sit to play all my games. But if you did think that, you'd actually be wrong. Because over on the other side of the room is my full dedicated gaming setup. Today I'm going to be doing a full tour and breakdown of everything that I use in this setup. So let's dive in and take a look. I'm planning on doing a full 2024 room tour a little later on in the year, but for today we're going to focus solely on the gaming setup. I'll go through and talk about all the parts and changes I've made since my last room tour, including all my peripherals, furniture, and gaming hardware. And if you see anything you like in this video, I'll have it all linked down in the description. And if you want to shop around for new gear for your gaming setup, the process can be made so much easier thanks to today's sponsor, Vetted. I've been using Vetted myself for years to improve my shopping experience when buying new gear for my setup. And with their free app for iOS and Android, it's easier than ever. Instead of spending hours researching gear across 50 different browser tabs, with Vetted's AI shopping agent, you can get everything you need in seconds all in one place. Just type out a specific prompt for the gear you want, and within seconds it will do all the research, compile reviews from your trusted sites, filter out spam and fake reviews, and give you a list of links comparing prices across different stores to get you the best deal on the most relevant products. I love using it for ideas when I'm upgrading my setup, and if you want to try Vetted yourself, you can download the app using the link down in the description. Upgrade your shopping experience today with Vetted. So let's start off by taking a look at the desk I use in this setup. This is the Smart Desk Core standing desk, and it's from a company called Autonomous. I was already a fan of their products as I've been using their Ergo Chair Pro in my main setup for a few years now. So when I decided I wanted to go for a standing desk in this setup, they were more than happy to send this one over. It has a sleek all-white design which is perfect for the aesthetic that I'm going for, and because I was building the setup in front of this chimney breast, the desk is actually the perfect size for what I needed. The desktop is 135 by 74 centimeters, and it's the perfect size for me to have my PC on one side of the desk, my console on the other side, and still have room for a 32-inch gaming monitor in the middle. It's also deep enough that I don't feel like I'm sat too close to the screen when gaming. It has a little display telling you the height of the desk and can be adjusted up and down, and also has 4 different customizable presets, so I can choose the height that's right for me and make sure that I'm always comfortable when I'm gaming on this setup. Another thing that keeps me nice and comfortable and has recently been upgraded is my chair. And when it comes to gaming chairs, this is just about as good as they get. This is the Herman Miller M-Body, and it's basically a cross between an ergonomic chair and a gaming chair. And this stunning design is actually a collaboration with Logitech G. The interesting and unique backrest is designed to give you great levels of back support, and it's an understatement when I tell you guys this is one of the most comfortable chairs I have ever used. You can adjust the armrests up and down as well as side to side, adjust the angle of the backrest forwards or backwards, adjust the height of the chair up or down, and you can even adjust the size of the seat using these handles on either side. It does come in at a whopping £1,570, but honestly, given the unrivaled levels of comfort and the fantastic looks, the chair has definitely cemented itself as one of the best out there. Now let's talk about the PC build. I originally built this last year and added a bunch of upgrades in a YouTube video a couple of weeks ago, which of course you can check out on my channel. And this PC is rocking an i7 14700K CPU, Aero RTX 4070 Ti GPU, 32 gigs of DDR5 7000 RAM, NZXT Z790 motherboard, as well as their Kraken Elite 360 RGB cooler, F-Series RGB core case fans, vertical GPU mounting kit, and their H6 Flow case. And this case is unique in that it has this angled section at the front so that the intake fans can channel air directly towards your components. There's a 1TB SSD, and I definitely need more storage, as well as a Lian Li Strimmer Plus cable connected to the motherboard, and an overkill 1200 watt power supply in the back. Not only does this PC look absolutely stunning in this setup, but it performs fantastically well when gaming as well. Aside from PC gaming, I also like to kick back with some console gaming from time to time. So I also have my PlayStation 5 in this setup too. This is the newer slim version of the PS5 that I picked up for myself a couple of months ago, as I wanted one with a disc drive for when I pick up those physical collector's edition games. I can also take advantage of the larger onboard storage, but I have installed a 4TB SSD in here as well anyway. I have my PS5 controller displayed in the middle of the desk on this lovely little wooden stand, and this is actually beautifully crafted by a company called Geek Made Designs. Not only is it a convenient place for my controller when I want to kick back with some games, but I also think it adds a bit of style and elegance to my desk as well. As well as kicking back with some PC gaming and PlayStation 5, sometimes I do also swap it out for my Xbox Series X. I've added this super cool Starfield themed skin wrap to the console, and I also have the matching controller up here on the shelf as well. No matter what system I'm playing on though, they are all hooked up to the same monitor. And right now in the setup, I have the absolute best gaming monitor I've ever used. It is the Asus ROG Swift PG32 UCDM, and it's a 32-inch 4K QD OLED 240Hz monitor with a 0.03 response time. And these are basically the perfect specs for gaming. I uploaded a full review of this monitor on my channel last week, and it is honestly my favorite monitor that I have ever used. The picture quality on it is absolutely incredible thanks to the 4K resolution, and because it's also a QD OLED panel, the colors are super vibrant and the contrast levels are absolutely second to none. The only real shame with this monitor is that it's actually only on loan to me from Asus, so unless I can actually convince them to let me keep it, I'll have to go back to my old monitor, which is this MSI 32-inch 1440p 165Hz IPS monitor. And while that monitor does also look very nice, it is absolutely nothing in comparison to this one. The monitor is mounted to the desk using this arm that I recently replaced. Previously I had this single black monitor arm which did the trick, but I noticed my monitor kept tilting forwards due to the weight. And it also didn't match the setup aesthetic, so I switched it out for this white gas sprung arm instead. And while it might only be a subtle change, I actually think it came out really nicely. Plus I now have way more adjustability with the monitor than I did using the old arm. Now let's talk about the peripherals I used in this setup. For the gaming headset, I'm using the new Astro A50Xs from Logitech, and once again I recently did a full review of these on my channel, and I ended up liking them so much that they're now a permanent feature in my setup. Not only is the headset fantastic quality when it comes to both sound and microphone, they also have a really clean and sleek design and are extremely comfortable even in long gaming sessions. But this headset's secret weapon is the base station. Not only is this a place to store your headset and also charge it up, but it can also connect to Xbox, PS5 and PC simultaneously. So you can seamlessly switch between gaming on your console to gaming on your PC, all with the single press of a button. And of course this is absolutely perfect for my setup as I have both my PC and console hooked up in here. Sticking with the Logitech G theme, I'm also using their Pro X TKL keyboard in the setup as well. It's a great little keyboard for gaming, fits really well with the aesthetic of the setup, and I'm not really a fan of full-size keyboards, so the smaller size works for me as well. And then for the mouse, I'm using the glorious Model O, although I'm not actually sure why I'm still using this, as I actually have the Model O 2 wireless lying around in storage somewhere as well. But I'm thinking of switching it out with my Logitech G Pro X Superlight that I used to use in my main setup, until I replace that with the G Pro X Superlight 2 instead. But let me know in the comments, which mouse would you use in this setup? For the mousepad, I'm using this Saturn V design from Desco, which I've had in here for a very long time, and it still remains to this day one of my favourite mousepad designs I have. At this point, it's getting a bit old and battered, and it definitely needs a clean, as you can see from this stain from when I left a baby wipe on here when I was changing one of my kids. Well, I don't know, maybe it's time for a change, as this is the mousepad I've used since I first built this setup. So drop some options in the comments for me to consider using instead. As always, I've added a few decorations in here to add a little extra spice to the setup. As I always say, fake plants are one of the best decorations you can add to your desk, so I've got a few dotted around to give that nice natural feel. I also have my trusty little Squirtle Funko Pop, and these cute little Pokeball terrarium jars that I picked up from an Etsy store, and they're just a super cute addition to the setup. And then finally above the setup we have the only RGB over here, which is my Nanoleaf lines, and this is probably one of my favourite lighting displays, as it took me ages to come up with a design I actually liked, but I think this one came out looking great and I'm really happy with it. Now the final thing I always have to talk about is the cable management, and the reason I've left it until last is because it's not quite as good as in my main setup. Over there I spent ages adding stuff into raceways to make it look really neat, but over here I've kind of just bundled things together with Velcro cable ties, and while if you're underneath the desk looking at it, it doesn't look quite as tidy, but the whole idea is to keep the cables out of sight, so as you can see, it's done the trick. I do have this cable vertebrae for all the power cables which then run down behind my racing sim, and while it may not be perfect, it still looks great. So there you go, that is my full gaming setup tour in 2024. It looks completely different to when I did my last room tour, and it will probably look completely different again when I do my next one. I'm really happy with the way things are looking at the minute with this nice, more minimal setup that I can sit and enjoy games away from my main setup, and I'm really liking that this one has a much more toned down vibe. And of course, you guys let me know in the comments whether you're liking the way that the setup is looking currently. And if you enjoyed today's video, please show your support by dropping a thumbs up on it, and of course, make sure you subscribe for more content like this. Oh, and by the way, if you want to get your setup reviewed in my content, head over and join my Discord server, where there's a dedicated setups channel for you to drop a few pictures of your gaming setup. And as part of a new series, I'm going through and reviewing them one by one in my short form content. I'm looking forward to checking out some more of your awesome gaming setups soon, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you later.